After 2 long years in the UK, I had only one desire, to hold my son again. As I stepped out of the airport, into the thick Cape Town heat, my heart raced. Neo would finally be in my arms. I imagined him screaming, "Mama," and running into me like before. That picture had been my anchor through every exam, every lonely night, every tear I wiped in silence. But what greeted me broke me. Neo stood beside my mother, Ma Tandy, holding tightly to the edge of her wrapper. He looked smaller, thinner, and there was something wrong with his eyes, dull, distant. They didn't shine like I remembered. "Neo," I called, waving. He looked up but didn't move. Didn't smile. My heart cracked. "Go now," my mother said, nudging him. "Your mother is back." Still nothing. I walked to him, knelt down and opened my arms. "My baby, it's Mama." He approached slowly, almost dragging his feet. When I pulled him into a hug, his arms hung limp by his sides. No giggle, no spark, just a stiff, silent child. The car ride home was worse. My sister Lorato chatted endlessly about neighbors, church gossip, and how Neo's been acting strange. I nodded, but my thoughts were with the boy sitting beside me, staring out the window like he wasn't there. That night I unpacked his gifts, new clothes, toys and cereal he loved. "Come see what I brought for you," I said gently. He walked in and looked at the Lego box, but didn't touch it. "You don't like Lego anymore." He stared at the floor. "I'm sorry." "For what, baby?" He whispered. "Gogo said I'm like my daddy, bad." I felt my knees weaken. Something was wrong, and I was going to find out what. The next morning, I insisted on bathing Neo myself. My mother raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I could feel her watching me, but I didn't care. My instincts were screaming, and I'd learned never to ignore them. Neo stood quietly as I undressed him. He didn't resist, didn't smile, just stared blankly ahead. And then I saw them. Faint, brownish-purple bruises lined his back. Thin, uneven welts traced down to his waist. Some healed, others newer. My breath caught in my throat. My hand trembled as I reached out. But the moment my fingers brushed one of the marks, he flinched and took a small step back. "Neo," I whispered, crouching to his level. "Who did this to you?" He didn't speak. I cupped his face gently. "My baby, please, you can tell me." He looked away. I don't know." My chest tightened. "Did Gogo hit you, or Auntie Lorato?" He swallowed. "I was naughty, I didn't listen." "Neo," I said firmly but calmly, "being naughty doesn't mean anyone gets to hurt you. Do you understand?" He nodded slowly, but I could see he didn't believe it. I wrapped him in a towel, picked him up, and walked straight to the living room, where Ma Tandy sat watching TV like she hadn't destroyed someone's soul. I stood in front of her, shaking. "Who beat my son?" She looked up, unfazed. "You left him with us." "Zainal, we did what we had to do." "What you had to do, look at his back." She shrugged. "He's stubborn, just like his father. You know how those types need to be handled." I wanted to scream, cry, destroy something. Instead, I held Neo tighter and turned away. They didn't just hurt him, they broke something inside him, and I would never forgive them for it. The house had become unbearable. I moved through it like a stranger, watching every word, every glance, every hand that reached for my child. My mother and Lorato acted as if nothing had happened, as if I hadn't seen the bruises, as if I was supposed to thank them for raising him. But I didn't speak. Not yet. I needed more than suspicion. I needed truth. That afternoon, Neo napped in my room, curled beneath my scarf like it was a shield. I stepped out into the compound, desperate for air. That's when I saw her, Mama Essie, our elderly neighbor, sweeping by her gate. She looked up, her eyes meeting mine with something that felt too knowing. "You're back," she said quietly. "Yes," I replied, forcing a smile. "For good." She hesitated, glanced at the house, then back at me. "That boy Neo, he really needed you." My stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" She looked around, lowered her voice. "He cried every night, sometimes. They locked him outside, in the cold. Once, during a storm, I wanted to say something, but your mother warned me to mind my business." I blinked, trying to steady myself. "They said he was cursed," she added, "that he was carrying his father's spirit." I couldn't breathe. I stood frozen, staring at her, too stunned to respond. Mama Essie gave me a sorrowful nod and went back to her sweeping, like she hadn't just shattered me. I went back inside, straight to Neo's side. He stirred slightly and clutched my scarf tighter. They had hurt him, lied to him, told him he was cursed. And I had left him there. But I was here now, and I would make every single one of them pay for what they did. After what Mama Essie told me, I couldn't sit still. My hands itched to uncover everything. I couldn't confront them again without proof, not with how calmly they denied everything before. So while Neo napped, I searched. I started with the storage room. The one Mama Essie said they locked him in. It was dusty, cluttered with old buckets and broken fans. The door had a bolt on the outside. My stomach turned. Who bolts a door from the outside, unless someone was meant to be trapped inside? I moved to the kitchen next, opened cupboards, pulled drawers. Then my eyes landed on the old wooden cabinet in the corner. The one no one used anymore because it smelled musty and had a broken hinge. I bent down, pulled hard on the door, and it creaked open. That's when I saw it. A belt. Thick black, coiled like a snake. The leather cracked and stiff. I picked it up slowly, my hand trembling. As I turned it over, I saw it, dark brown stains around the edges. Dried blood. My knees gave way and I sat right there on the cold tiles. Heart racing, bile rising in my throat. I imagined Neo, standing still, biting his lips so he wouldn't cry. I imagined them lifting this belt with rage and calling it correction. Tears blurred my vision. I wrapped the belt in an old grocery bag and shoved it deep into my suitcase. This wasn't just proof, it was a weapon. I would use it. That evening, Lorato came home laughing on the phone, throwing her bag on the chair like nothing had happened. I watched her with a calm smile, but inside me, war had already begun. They had no idea what was coming. I knew Lorato's phone habits. She always left her older phone lying around when she got a new one, too lazy to wipe it, too proud to throw it away. That night, while she was in the shower laughing at something on TikTok, I slipped into her room and found the old phone in her bedside drawer. It was dead. I took it, plugged it into the power strip beside my bed and waited. When the screen lit up, my hands began to sweat. No password. I opened the photo gallery first. Most of it was selfies and memes. But then I saw a folder named House. My heart dropped. Inside were pictures and short video clips, some of the compound, some of Neo. In one, he was crouched in the corner of the storage room. Head down, the caption read, "This boy no day hear word." My fingers trembled. Another clip played, my mother shouting while Neo sobbed. "Cry, cry all you want. You'll still eat that food you threw away." Then another, Lorato's voice. "I swear this boy go carry curse from that yay papa. Zainal really dropped rubbish on us." I froze. They hated him. They saw my son as a burden, a stain, and they recorded it, laughed about it, my own blood. I sat on my bed, shaking. I emailed everything to myself, pictures, videos, voice notes, all of it. Then I locked the phone and returned it. When Lorato came into the room later, towel around her waist, smiling like she'd just bathed off her sins, I smiled back. But in my chest, something sharp had taken root. They weren't just cruel. They were evil. And now I had proof. I called for a family meeting the next evening. Mama raised her eyebrows. "What is this about Zainal?" "You'll see," I said simply, setting the tray of drinks on the center table. I wanted them comfortable. I wanted them seated. Lorato came in with popcorn, humming a worship song like a saint. My brother Toomey joined virtually via video call from Johannesburg, propped up on Mama's cracked tablet. I looked at each of them. My heart beat steady. My hands didn't shake. I was ready. "I've come back to take full responsibility for my son." I began, and to get answers. "Answers for what?" Lorato asked, already rolling her eyes. "For why he's bruised, why he flinches, why he's afraid of raised voices. Why your old phone," I said, turning to her, "has videos of him locked in a storeroom, has voice notes of you calling him cursed." The room froze. "You went through my phone," she snapped, her voice rising. "I found the belt," I added, turning to Mama. "Hidden, stained, I saw everything, heard everything." "You're exaggerating," Mama said. Voice hard, "You left him, we raised him. You don't get to come here and judge." "No, you damaged him," I said, my voice shaking now. "You took out your hate for his father on a child who did nothing wrong." Toomey's voice crackled through the tablet. "Zainal, calm down. Calm down." I turned the tablet toward me. "You weren't even here, but you allowed this." Mama stood up. "This meeting is over." "No," I said, "it's just beginning." I pulled out a folder, printed images, transcripts, emails, everything. "I'm reporting all of you, to Child Services, to the police. I'll fight with every breath left in me." They stared at me like I'd gone mad, but I had finally gone free. The psychologist's office smelled like vanilla and lavender, calming, safe. It didn't feel like a hospital or clinic, just a quiet space with soft chairs, toy blocks, and picture books. Neo held my hand tightly as we sat on the couch across from Dr. Mbatha, a gentle woman with warm eyes and a calm voice. "Hi Neo," she said softly. "I'm here to play and talk with you, only if you want to." Neo looked at me. I nodded reassuringly. He hesitated, then gave a small nod. I watched from the corner of the room as he followed her to a play mat. They built a small tower with blocks. Then she handed him a marker and paper, and asked him to draw how he feels at home. He drew a big house, one tiny stick figure with a sad face in the corner, three tall ones, all frowning. One of them held something that looked like a stick. I had to step out. I couldn't cry in front of him again. An hour later, Dr. Mbatha sat with me. Her voice was calm, but the words tore through me. Zainal Neo is exhibiting signs of trauma. He has selective mutism. He shuts down emotionally and verbally in response to fear. This isn't just sadness. He was scared, deeply. I covered my face with my hands. Can he heal? She nodded gently. Yes, but it'll take time. Patience, stability, most of all. He needs to feel safe again. I'll do whatever it takes, I whispered. Anything. She gave me a reassuring smile. Then you've already taken the first step. As we left the office, Neo reached for my hand. Not out of habit, but with intention. I looked down at him, blinking back tears. I wasn't just his mother now. I was his shield. Filing the lawsuit was the hardest decision I've ever made. Not because I doubted myself, no. I knew what they did. I saw the bruises, heard the recordings, read the vile words written about my child. But taking legal action meant something deeper. It meant admitting that my own blood, my mother, my siblings, had become the enemy. I sat across from my lawyer, Miss Delamini, my hands gripping the chair's armrest like a lifeline. We're going for full custody and a child protection order, she said, flipping through the evidence. Once we submit this, we're alerting the social welfare office. They'll interview the child as well. I nodded. He's already in therapy. Good, that strengthens your case. I glanced down at Neo, who was sitting on the floor beside me drawing quietly. I had to keep reminding myself this wasn't just about justice. It was about healing. It was about showing him that he mattered, that his pain wouldn't be ignored. When the court papers were served, my phone exploded with calls. Mama, Lerato, even to me. You want to disgrace this family. Mama's voice roared through the phone. You disgraced yourselves, I replied calmly. You're an ungrateful child. After everything we did for you. You beat a 6-year-old, you called him cursed. You locked him outside, you didn't raise him, you broke him. Click. The story reached social media a week later. I didn't post it, but someone did, one of the neighbors. Maybe even a lawyer's intern. Young mother sues her family for child abuse after returning from UK. Was trending for 3 days straight. Support poured in, so did judgment. But I didn't care. This wasn't about public opinion. This was about my son. And I was prepared to fight until the end. The courtroom was cold, sterile in its silence, tense in its air. I sat at the front with Neo beside me, his small fingers intertwined with mine. He was nervous, I could tell, but he was brave, braver than I had ever been at 6. My lawyer stood with confidence, laying out the evidence one by one, the photos of bruises, the video of my mother shouting, the audio clip of Lerato calling my son cursed, the belt in the plastic bag, the drawing Neo had made in therapy. My family sat on the other side of the courtroom, stone-faced. Lerato avoided my eyes. Mama glared at me like I was dirt beneath her feet. The judge's voice echoed, Mrs. Zainal Moyo, do you have anything to add? I stood steady. Yes, I trusted them with my son. I left him in the care of people I called home. But they hurt him. They didn't just discipline, they abused, humiliated, and terrified a little boy who had already lost so much. They buried his light, and now I am trying to dig him out of the dark. A murmur swept through the room. Then came the cross-examination. My mother took the stand first. We disciplined him out of love. She said stiffly, children must learn. She abandoned him for education. The judge leaned forward. So you believe beating a 6-year-old with a belt is discipline? Her silence spoke louder than anything else. Lerato crumbled when confronted with the audio recordings. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean it, she said. I was angry. You were cruel, the judge said. And you have not shown remorse. Neo squeezed my hand. I looked down at him and whispered, almost over. And for the first time, he smiled, just a little. The judgment came swiftly. Full custody was awarded to me, along with a restraining order, preventing my mother and siblings from contacting Neo without court permission. The judge's final words echoed in my soul. Family is meant to protect, not destroy. I walked out of the courtroom that day with my son's hand in mine, not just as a mother, but as a warrior who had fought and won. Neo looked up at me as we crossed the court steps. Are they gone now? He asked quietly. I knelt and looked him in the eye. They can't hurt you anymore. He nodded, just that, and I knew it was enough for now. I withdrew from the public eye, turned off my phone, blocked numbers. We left town for a while, rented a small house by the sea. Nothing grand, just peace. I enrolled Neo in a new school with patient teachers, and he returned to therapy twice a week. Healing wasn't instant. Some nights he still cried in his sleep. Some mornings, he still asked if I was leaving again. But slowly, the sparkle returned. He laughed more, ate better, drew happy faces. One evening, while we were baking banana bread, he suddenly said, "Mama, I'm not like Daddy." I stopped what I was doing and bent to him. "No, my love, you're like me, you're strong." He smiled, this time wide and free. "I've lost a lot, my mother, my siblings, the people who raised me. But I don't regret a single thing. Because I chose my son. I chose truth over shame, justice over silence, love over blood. And I will keep choosing him for the rest of my life." Please like, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel for more stories.